Welcome to the Entrepreneurial Toolbelt Podcast, the only podcast you'll ever need to get your business to the next level. This podcast is powered by Antoine, Campbell, Enterprise. Hey, wholesaler, how you doing? This is your boy, Antoine Campbell. I am the owner of Lead Factory. The Lead Factory is a program that allows you to stop worrying about sellers cussing you out, dealing with your lead generation, trying to figure out how to work silly ass Mojo or CallTools, and let us step in and handle all of the work for you. Are you sick and tired of trying to get all of the front end shit right in your business? Well, allow Lead Factory to come in and step in and help you out, and you're only talking to motivated sellers. You can get access to this program for as little as $1,600 a month commitment. But we provide the VA, we provide $1, we do all the management, we take care of everything that you're currently struggling with, and you pay a flat fee knowing you don't have to worry about anything else but talking to motivated sellers. If that sounds like somebody like you, call me now or visit the website right now. What's up with you? It's your boy Antoine Campbell. Welcome to the Entrepreneurial Toolbelt Podcast. Today I got two very special guests with me, all the way from Virginia and Richmond, Virginia. Jehu and Francis, they're owners of Cheat Code, and it's a technology company that specializes in showing you how to understand the market, when to get in and when to get out. And I really want to interview them today. It's a fintech company. This is the first fintech company I'm interviewing, and my next fintech company will be an owner of a bank that owns a fintech bank. So without any further ado, I want to introduce these two young, amazing guys to my podcast. What's up, guys? How y'all doing?
Hey, doing well, man.
Welcome to the Entrepreneurial Toolbelt Podcast. Finally, I got somebody that's not in real estate on the show, and let's have some amazing time. So listen, I know both of you guys are from the motherland, right?
Mm-hmm.
You from Ghana,
yep.
right? And you born here, but your people's from out there too, right?
Yep.
So let's just get straight into your upbringing, right? Like how you started from Ghana and how you got over here.
Right. So I grew up, born and raised in the capital of Ghana, Accra, of course. Mom came here first originally around 2003. I was around probably 8. School, which is like equivalent to high school here. In which case I was living with family friends for about 3 years before my mom was able to bring my brother and I here. Complete culture shock, having to learn everything over again, systems, school, all that type of stuff, but adjusted well all in all. So it was really nice.
So let me ask you quickly, You said culture shock.
Yeah.
When you came over here, you was about 12, 13 years old?
Yeah, I was about 12. Yep.
Did you know English or did you have to learn it?
Yeah, so Ghana was actually a British colony, so I did know English. It was mainly British English that we learned back home. From first grade, we started learning like English. So mainly you don't really speak English till like first grade, essentially. Of course, our tribal languages, different tribes, different languages.
And what was like the shock, like the difference?
So I would say one of the biggest things, I would say food, number one. I'm a big food guy. My partner Francis will tell you.
I love food too.
Yeah. So food being different, of course, having like even in high school is actually when I tried my first mac and cheese. Like my principal, I remember announcing it over the PA system, like, Jehu Graham Appreciation Day. He tried his first mac and cheese today.
Man, that ain't mac and cheese. I'm gonna tell you right now.
Yeah. It was different.
I'm gonna make sure you get some of my mac and cheese.
Oh, okay. That's something special. Yeah, I'm down for that, man. Any food moves, I'm with it. Yeah.
Awesome. So what about you, bro? Like,
I grew up here in the DMV, really.
DMV, baby.
All around the Beltway. I was born in Silver Spring.
Right.
Family moved around from Silver Spring to Germantown, Gaithersburg, Northern Virginia, the whole kind of loop. My dad's a software engineer. Mom's pretty much stayed home for the most part. Grew up, around here, just had a lot of trouble in school along the way and things like that. Kind of hard-headed, kind of took the stubborn path, but eventually figured things out in my 20s, you know what I mean?
That's amazing. So I know you guys are here. You both are business partners, right? You started this. I'm just curious, like, the name Cheat Code. Sound like some Grand Theft Auto shit. Like,
yeah.
Who came up with that name?
That guy right
Yeah, that would be me, man. It just dawned on me, and it just stuck. Just because it's just like you said, like Grand Theft Auto, you know, all that type of stuff. It's like every time you think about something's cheat code, it's like the fast track to get into a solution, right? And that's essentially what we built the software to be. Like, you know, the purpose of the software is to be able to take away the fear factor of, you know, the financial markets to different people from different walks of life, and really make it digestible and easy to comprehend. So in a nutshell, walk me through this product you built. Like, how would I use it if I never invested in stocks, crypto, day trade. I don't know shit about it. How would I benefit from it?
Well, so there's two things. We initially built this software for our community. We started out with a community of about 16 friends and family, just kind of teaching and educating them on stocks, options, things like that. Primarily options. We're primarily options traders. And, so we have a community right now. It's about 10,000 members. Everybody's really, really helpful in there. They take you from, very beginner, not knowing anything, to advanced trading techniques within, we say anywhere between 8 to 12 weeks. If you really apply yourself and really apply the education, you get there, within that time frame, you'll be up and running doing your own thing. Now, the software itself, we designed the software essentially to kind of take the technical, complex technical analysis concepts and really simplify them down to as best as we could into very easily digestible visual representations. So essentially, green is great time to buy or good time to buy. Red is a great time to sell or ideal time to sell. You have yellow candles that tell you when things are likely to slow down or turn around. And we have a lot of other different features in there that also tell you when maybe a stock is getting too hot for itself and
volatile.
We'll be looking to reverse and things like that, because the stock investment, crypto investment space is a very volatile space, especially this past year. Things were great for a long time, but it's not always going to be like that, right? And so, we really wanted to be able to simplify a lot of the more complex things that scare people away from technical analysis into the easiest way for them to really kind of take that and use it.
See, because my issue is, how do someone like Brother Elon get on Twitter, talk his shit, and manipulate the market?
Hey,
about 10 years ago, that would be considered like insider trading or something, right?
So he right now he's had some SEC scrutiny going on. But the thing about it is, because he's been operating primarily in the crypto space now, he's kind of getting away with murder over there, because it's not the same SEC regulations. It's not insider trading, because you can't say he owns the stock and he can manipulate it, It's, kind of a neutral marketplace, right? It's decentralized, and that's the whole purpose of cryptocurrencies, to be decentralized away from central regulations. So, and oversight. So that's kind of how he's been able to get away with that there. But he has been for blatantly, running up a bag.
No shame.
So let me ask you guys, your definition of asset allocation. Like, what do your software come in and play to kind of like create a good balance of stock and crypto? Like, can your software do something like that, or or do your community, the 10,000 people, come together and say, okay, this is what I'm holding, this is what I'm holding for the long, this one I'm holding for the short?
So we teach principles like that, right? So we like to teach our community to make sure you have multiple accounts. One for short-term trading, we can have fun, chase whatever it is you want to chase, or do whatever it is you want to do if that's what you want to do, right? And another account that's more stable long-term. There's a lot of strategies out there you can utilize, not just dividend investing, but you can also there's something called selling covered calls and option strategies you can create to create yourself a consistent income.
Like, because I'm usually good at knowing stuff, but I know options and all of that stuff. But like, when you say selling covered calls, what is that?
I'll give you an example. So basically, with selling covered calls, options are basically a contract, right? You're selling me the right to purchase 100 shares from you at a certain price at a certain date in the future, like a coupon. Right now, the price I'm going to pay for that is what maybe let's say it's $1, right? Let's say the stock currently today. Actually, you know what? Let's take a better example. Let's do something simple like a box of cereal, right? I go buy a coupon for a box of cereal. It says you can buy this box of cereal at $1, and the expiration date is January 2022, right? Now, if there's a shortage of cereal, let's say, and the price of cereal goes up to $5, I paid for that coupon. Let's say I paid 10 cents for that coupon. if the price of cereal goes up to $5, I still have the right to buy it for $1. The value of that coupon is going to be significantly greater, right?
Right.
So the cereal went from $1 to $5 is 500%, but my coupon probably went from from 10 cents to, let's say, $4, right? And now somebody's willing to pay $4 for it, or let's say $3 for it, right? Because they can still pay $3 for it, pay $1 for the cereal, and still get cereal for $4 when it's $5 on the market, right?
Right.
So now my coupon went from 10 cents to $3. Right, so it's like a leverage instrument. It's a derivative instrument.
And the difference is, assuming, is your spread, right?
Yeah. So basically, the price I paid for that contract or that coupon, right? If I'm correct that the price of that asset is going to go up, that coupon is going to get significantly more valuable than the underlying asset, right? So
right.
The box of cereal, like I said, went from $1 to $5. That coupon went up 3,000% from 10 cents to $3, right? Something like that. And so that's kind of how options work. They're leveraged instruments, and they allow you to take advantage of price actions of stock, underlying stock, and get more, more return potentially if you're correct on your.
So let me ask you something. I'm just curious. Why do you think they don't openly talk about this stuff? Like when I was gainfully employed, had a job, they like, hey, listen, we're going to match your 401k and you're going to be straight by 65. I'm like, 65? Like, why do you think they're so afraid to talk about this?
Nah, because, I mean, you got to think about it this way, right? Like, let's say I'm a creator of a product or in the market, I'm a market maker or anything like that, right? The more people that know exactly how to beat the game or beat the system in the market, the less valuable the market becomes. So if you're thinking about it in that way, where you're you're thinking about it as a creator and not just an operator in the system, you start to understand hey, there's a reason why not just everybody participates in the market, right? Or everybody knows how to get around in and out of the market, because essentially the creators of the market will not, it doesn't make sense for them. Right. They're not going to teach you how to beat their own system. Right. If I created Monopoly and I gave you all the answers to get around Go on Monopoly, the game will be, worthless. Nobody would want to play.
If you look at it also, right now they're talking about there's a shortage of employees and things like that right now. Currently, there's a lot of talk about that, right? And the fact of the matter is, before you needed somebody to teach it to you, you got to go to school, learn this, learn that. They send all these complex books. Now you have the internet that is decentralizing information left and right. So now people, the younger generation, is able to literally self-teach themselves. You have the motivation, the desire, and the hustle and dedication to learn something. You can learn anything you want on the internet. Anything. So now people are learning how to gain their freedom through platforms like trading and things like that. And and that's something I want to kind of double back on. You guys, to my knowledge, built this yourself, right? Yeah. Well, the first two versions of it, then we got additional people joined our team and took it to another level.
But even the initial setup of it, that's no easy task to kind of
no, definitely not. A lot of sleepless nights and
all of this stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're using Amazon servers, making sure stuff's not crashing, and went to kind of kicking an extra server, well, that's crazy. Yeah, but the nice thing was that we built it on top of a third-party application. So a lot of the foundational things they had in place, all we had to do was focus on the tool itself. Right. So now that we kind of scaled up to the level we scaled up, now we're building out a lot of the more complex things like on the back end and things like that, servers and all that type of stuff on, for that now. But before we just focused strictly on what we needed to do, which was give our community the tools they needed to be successful in the marketplace.
MVP essentially. Yep.
Yeah. I'm still intrigued. This is crazy. Let's say, for example, I sign up for the app, right? Would I get an alert to say, hey, listen, buy Nike or sell Nike?
Right. So you can actually set it up like that. So in the charting platform, you're able to actually set alerts where it will notify you. Let's say you're looking at, a company like Apple or Tesla or Nike as a, shoe collector. I think I suggest, everybody definitely needs to look into investing in those companies that are actually making these brands. But that's besides the point. So you can set an alert for the system to be able to send you an email that says, hey, this is a good time to buy Nike. Either depending on the time frame that you're looking at. If you're looking at a short-term trade or a long-term investment or anything of that nature, you're able to do that for sure. So how do you guys go about picking when to bet or picking stocks you like to hold?
So I always explain it like this. Fundamental analysis gives you a good framework for knowing what stocks you want to trade. And fundamentals is basically analyzing a business, right?
Right.
Cash flow, revenue, things like that, them positioning in the marketplace, et cetera, upcoming catalysts, things of that nature. Technical analysis tells you when is a good time to buy those stocks. Even you can be right about the company, but wrong about the time to buy it,
Right.
and you still end up losing money,
Right.
And so for us, it's a combination of those things. Now there's actually a third kind of leg of it, right, where there's a social component, right? And that's something that we, as people who've been in the market for a long time, you have two options. You can either hesitate to, or kind of go against the grain and not want to join in what's happening, right? And factor that into your strategy, which what I'm referring to is like the viral social media trading that's going on with the GameStops and AMCs and things like that. Or you can, do it smartly and kind of bring it into your trading strategy. Not that you should blindly follow it, right? Just jump up and follow any of these hype stocks. But there is a new kind of wave of trading, which is a social component of, finding out what the trending stocks are coming. There's even ETFs now that are out there, like Buzz ETF BUZZ is an entire ETF, which is, essentially like a fund that buys into different assets. And they now are investing strictly based off of artificial intelligence telling them which are the trending stocks on social media and things like that. Sentiment, right? So,
and speaking of artificial intelligence, that's one of my latest questions, and I'm gonna jump right to it. What's your take on it? Are you currently using it with your business, and where do you see it going?
That's coming right.
Sure.
That's our next step with machine learning. Machine learning is our next phase.
That's some amazing stuff, right? Like I'm signed with this company. And they're using machine learning to kind of like build cash buyers lists. And it's crazy what they developed.
Right.
But let me ask you this. If I was a modest person, I had 1, 2, 3,000 on my account, and I wanted to get started, what would be the first course of action? Or what do you think I should start off to grow that investment in a sustainable way where I'm not being reckless?
The first thing is invest in your education.
Yeah.
Point blank period. Trading is a skill-based game. You have to, we look at things like, playing basketball or poker. I'll take poker, for example.
Right.
A lot of people consider the stock market a casino, gambling, things like that, right? But, poker is a game that is skill-based, right? There is an element of gambling to it. Obviously, it's gambling. But you got people who can go out there and play poker and will consistently come back with wins, right? And then you got people who go out there and just, they might get a lucky hand every now and then, but they're going to leave the table losing 9 times out of 10. Stock market is the same thing, right? You have to build your skill base, in the trading world in order to find consistent success first. Of course, you could throw $1,000 in and you potentially could hit something like these games, stops, AMCs. But in order to consistently grow a portfolio, you need to invest in your education first and foremost. Same thing you do in real estate.
Yeah, I agree. Because even for me, like I don't do the stock thing, but I'm holding Spirit. People are like, why the hell you hold Spirit? They trash.
One of the best airline companies.
That's crazy.
I'm like, do you not know when they put the Wi-Fi on their planes, like it's gonna go off? So every time I get a little extra money, I just buy it.
That's a great.
That's a great forward-looking thing.
So for me, I don't know nothing about it, but I do know that people want to continue to fly Spirit. First of all, they got the best fleet. They got the newest planes.
Most efficient.
They're most efficient. They get most of the top cities. They got a ton of cash on their balance sheet. I don't know enough, but I know the fundamentals to know that's a good asset to own.
There you go. Sure. That's the funny part about it is that, a lot of times we overcomplicate investing, right? But essentially it's all investing is we're analyzing the same way you look at any other business out there, right? That especially being an entrepreneur, a lot of stuff is just common sense, right? You know that these companies are fundamentally sound. You know they're not going anywhere, right? And you know that you can look at their balance sheet and understand what's going on with the company. That could be a good investment. As long as you do it long term over time, that's a great thing. When you look at trading, on the other hand, when you're short term trading, that's where it comes a lot more to like the technical aspect of it, and you really kind of got to dive into the things like candlesticks and all that type of stuff. But investing.
You was the first person I heard about 3-4 years ago talking about a falling stock. I said, what the hell?
Hey, you remember that?
Oh, man. Pay attention, bro.
Yeah, you do, man. Damn.
He got to come on my podcast.
Yeah, wow.
Look at the falling stock. I'm like, falling stock.
Man,
I was on Bitcoin.
I started learning about charts because of you.
That's
I might not speak on it, but I pay
Yeah.
attention. I'm a very observant person.
That's what's up, bro.
Man,
Yeah,
that's dope.
that's crazy.
That
I remember
candle,
this.
that might be
post.
one of the most important candles
Yeah.
to know,
Yeah.
especially seeing that you got to run the other way, man.
Yeah,
That's wild.
I know exactly what post you're talking about too.
So let's talk about the struggles getting this thing off the ground. Like, everybody can talk about success
How much
and
time you
unicorns.
Of course.
We got about a good 20 minutes. I can get through this whole thing. Don't you worry.
Struggles they got plenty.
They got plenty.
Okay, let's tie it into a 2-question answer. First of all, congratulations. There's not many SaaS companies that's minority owned. So I'm very, very happy about that.
Appreciate it.
I don't know why we don't own a lot of companies that's becoming software companies that cater, because you didn't just correct me wrong, you didn't just create this company for our culture. You create this for the world.
Yeah,
right.
Sure.
Exactly.
Right?
Yep.
So like, I'm just trying to figure out, why do you think most entrepreneurs don't go down the route like a Zuckerberg or Bezos to create a product that everybody around the world can take advantage of?
Right.
Well, I think first and foremost is because, there's two, I look at it like for the most part, there's two different types of mentalities in any entrepreneur or any person in general. When it comes to business, you got the skill, people who invest in the skill set, right? And who, are mostly just like developers who are focused on mastering their craft as developers.
Right.
And then you have people who are entrepreneurial, right? And who want to be entrepreneurs. And it's combining the two can be quite a task in this space. And not only is it just a task in this space, but access to capital is also a big thing, right?
Right.
So for us, we were able to roll the capital from our community, right, that we had, in trading. Because our startup capital came from our trading, right? And then we had our...
So hold on, I'm going to cut you off. There was no big backer behind you.
No, we've never taken a dollar
from anybody else.
How much I want? Let me get in on this. Come on, man. Because the hustle is going public, right?
Yeah. So we take a couple.
What can I do? Because I see the Nas and all them putting their money in early, and they're cashing out $100 million.
That's gonna be open in a couple months.
Okay.
So we're gonna have that route. We have initial round of investors that can come in. Initial investors that can come into the kind of like a pre-IPO round, even though we're doing a direct listing. But very similar to that kind of concept. So there will be a point of that.
When the time comes, you'll definitely know.
For sure.
For sure.
So how do you feel being a SaaS company? Like the customer service, like the chargebacks, the fraudulent people using credit cards. Because when you're dealing with stocks and credit and people money, like
it's different.
It's a different game. Even me, like I process a lot of payments, and sometimes you catch some dark web people swiping their cards and trying to take it.
Yep.
How do you deal with all that?
Man, it's crazy. Customer service and operations is definitely one of the biggest challenges that I think any SaaS company probably has to overcome when it comes to the marketplace with that type of stuff. But you just have to be, just have systems in place. Like, when it comes to really SaaS companies, the number one thing I will urge anybody to really, really step on is just having systems in place, like systems for chargeback, having refund policies, having, just your company policy, and really being able to stand on that, being able to provide the right documents when, for example, you have chargebacks and stuff like that for your payment processors and things like that, like PayPal, Stripe, et cetera, et cetera. Just being able to have your systems in place, because if you don't have your systems in place, you get chargebacks, and let's say you're doing high ticket sales or anything like that, that could really haunt you.
And be careful with who you process through, or just make sure that your processing is in order, because we've had multiple issues with. We went through some of the biggest ones, Stripe primarily.
Yeah, and I was going to get to that. Like, are you currently using Stripe? I use Stripe, but honestly, bro, like
we use both.
So
Stripe and PayPal.
I don't use PayPal to jam me up.
Yeah. So Stripe kind of screwed us. So when our last interview really went, we had a massive income in sales, right? We ended up processing, about 8 to 9 times more than volume than we did, right? So we had a ton of money coming through the account, and Stripe completely froze everything for like almost a week. And they weren't telling us why. Right. They were just kind of dragging it on. We were freaking out because we're like, it's like $800,000 in the account.
They what I learned, because I'm friends with a lot of other SaaS owners, and they said, well, these people, Stripe and all these people, they're not really, they like the middleman. right?
Yeah.
So like
essentially.
they got somebody they got to answer to. It's not really their money they playing with.
Yeah,
Right.
but you know,
To a certain degree.
the thing about it is you only have so much access to them because they have a
Tiers.
tier, right?
Yeah.
Customer service, you can't get through customer service. You can't
I think
talk
that's
to
how most companies is. Like
Right,
I got an
multi-tier.
account with Bill.com. Like, hey,
Right.
listen, this money going to the wrong account. Help me.
Right.
By the time I got somebody on an email, the money done hit the wrong account.
Right.
Yep.
Exactly.
So
It's a big pain.
I understand
business
your,
days. Yeah.
I understand your struggle. Listen, guys, we're going to take a quick commercial break. We're only doing one commercial break today because this is an amazing interview and I want to give you everything. So let's roll with a commercial break.
Every day, we open our eyes to fulfill our purpose. Advancing to the path unknown, driven by the will to achieve more. In these challenging times, the Antoine Campbell enterprise strives to provide innovative leverage, using today's technology and exceptional talents, designed to give you an advantage in the real estate market for incredible results in your business. On that account, we have created a new system, custom for the real estate industry. It is a systematic course for real estate investors that provides you with all the knowledge on how to build a team, systematize, manage, and generate converting leads for your business at an astoundingly low cost. Utilizing virtual assistants with profound skills. Be part of the satisfied clients we have worked with over the last year. This is the VA Mastery System.
Welcome back, guys. This is the second leg of an interview. If you just joined, I'm interviewing two amazing men that own a SaaS company that basically is called Cheat Code, and literally do what it says. It's teaching you how to understand the market, when to get in and when to get out. And I'm going to be asking them more questions. So let's talk about Fed Coin. I heard about it. I don't know much about it. It's the Fed FED coin. It's the government. They're going to do their own coin,
Right.
or what you think about that?
Well, eventually, all of our monetary policy, all of our monetary supply will eventually be digitized, right?
Right.
China already has a digital yuan, and they are working on all different types of functionalities with it, as far as even identification, KYC type things, know your customer, all types of things that they're doing with the coin to be able to track who's doing what and things like that. And I think that overall, money is, cash is on its way out. Right now, if you think about it, we don't, when's the last time you really used dollar bills to transact? Most of the time we use
I don't even use
cards.
cash no more.
Yeah.
Exactly. We all use digital cards and things like that. So
currency.
at the end of the day, we're already using a form of digital currency, right? That's not a greenback cash, physical dollar. So it's not too far-fetched for that to happen.
Yeah.
And it's just a matter of time. You got to think also, all of our children, right, are growing up in a world that has always had cryptocurrency in it.
Right.
Bitcoin was around,
Even like Cash App, like when I first introduced the Cash App, somebody said, I'm gonna send you Cash App. What the hell is Cash App?
Right.
They send it to me and
Now
do you want to get the money now or do you want to wait 2 days?
Right.
Give me that money.
Give
I
me
check
that-
my account.
It's
It's there. I'm like, what is this
So
technology?
fast.
Is that like blockchain? Explain. Do you know about that technology?
What Cash App use?
Yeah. Like,
Processing.
how are they processing the money straight to your account? In
I
seconds?
don't know how Cash App is doing it. What their back end looks like. It's not blockchain,
No,
but it's I don't know what they got going on. I know that
It's
blockchain is
just at the end of the day, if you think about it this way, right? Like it's just numbers. Like everything that's reflection in your account is just numbers and digital currency, right?
Right.
And one of the I saw this information. I was reading this article that was talking about, essentially being able to detect when a coin on the blockchain or crypto market is a good coin by looking at the white paper, knowing how much supply that coin has, if it's infinite or if it's finite or whatever it may be. And they were comparing it to the US dollar. The US dollar is an infinitely, printable,
Right.
currency, which essentially puts it in a bad, coin base or category of what you would consider a bad investment or type asset class or anything of that nature. So it's just interesting just comparing digital currency. If they're able to, so one thing that we know is that the government is not able to, regulate the crypto markets. They're trying right now. There's a lot of talk in place. So of course, they're going to try to get involved. They've seen people literally walking away with billions of dollars when you talk about people like Elon Musk on that scale.
But even from a criminal enterprise perspective,
right?
Like washing money is a great thing for cryptocurrency.
NFTs, yep.
So
yeah, I mean, with crypto, see, the thing about the government intervention in crypto is that the only thing the government truly controls in an economy is the monetary supply, if you think about it, right? The only reason they can control the people is because they control the capital.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So when you start to decentralize the capital, you start to have, so we can essentially government control over, a society,
right,
essentially. And so there is going to be some type of intervention in some type of way, but the innate perspective of blockchain and what blockchain, the value proposition it brings to the world is decentralization. So I'm actually interested to see, I don't know how it's going to turn out.
So I'm a thinker, right? One of the things I think they're going to do, how they can get their way in the back door, is that I think that the feds and the government, IRS and the feds can come together and they probably give you some type of tax advantages in cryptocurrency like they do real estate.
Right.
And they're going to force people to kind of like report them coins and stuff so they can depreciate or whatever, like how they do real estate, in order to keep tabs on who got what and what's doing what.
Yeah, they can do that. And I think they also will start to implement more digital identities.
Right.
Right. So being able to verify people's identities digitally on the blockchain, right? You can actually kind of track what they're doing. Because people think that cryptocurrency is untraceable and stuff like that. It's not. It's very traceable. Right. Depending on what cryptocurrency you're looking at. There are some coins like Monero and some other ones that have privacy features built in where it can erase your, digital footprint essentially. Yeah. But Bitcoin, I can go back right now and see what the people did on Bitcoin 2013 just by looking at the blockchain. So there's a lot of it's not as untraceable as people think it is.
Right.
Awesome. So let's talk about the Entrepreneur Toolbelt podcast. What's your 3 favorite tools that you must have, whether it's personal or business, on a day-to-day basis?
Right. Number 1 has got to be systems, just because systems keeps us sane and keeps everything running fluid and without any retraction and anything of that nature. Number 2, when it comes to tools, as a trader, I would say cheat code algo, just because, not to be biased, just because it's something I use on a daily basis, something that, like, knowing that, we've created something that we actually depend on and utilize every day to day, like, random 3 a.m. research times, talking about different asset classes and things like that. Number 3, I would say
Slack.
Yeah. I'll probably say Slack just for communication, team management. If you don't have Slack, Upwork for outsourcing.
We built almost our entire community on Upwork. We outsource.
You use virtual assistants too?
Oh yeah. So our entire customer service team is.
I think that's the wave, right?
Yeah.
I got 52 employees. It fluctuates every week. I don't know. But I know for a fact, I think it's 52 employees currently on the payroll that work directly for me. That's responsible throughout 7 or 8 departments and multiple businesses I own.
Yeah.
So that's it.
I'm an advocate of the virtual assistant.
Infinitely scalable.
Yeah. And the thing about it is so many people, you have access to talent pools around the world. Right. If you're willing to put up the capital for people who are really good at what they do, web development, design, whatever it may be, and you are willing to take the time to walk through what it is you need them to do. I mean, it's been a godsend, especially with, like, he's talking about systems and things like that, because I'm as an entrepreneur, I'm very honest with myself. I know what I'm good at. I know what I'm not good at. I'm not good at details. I'm not good at organizing, structuring my days and calendars and things like that. But I know how to hire people who are good at those things and who can help us systemize where we need to systemize, because I know what needs to happen. I'm just not good at actually being the one to do it. Right. So we'll go out, we'll outsource whatever it is we need and input with it, and we'll have people in house who are part of our core team, who are people that we have in our community.
From within, our community.
And we'll give them really good salaries and things like that. But we make sure that they're managing the VAs, how they need to manage, so that way our line of communication is through 1 or 2 or 3 different channels.
Amazing, man. So let me ask you guys, You know, this place in America called Mount Rushmore,
Mhm.
right?
Yep.
If you had a chance to redo Mount Rushmore all over again, from an entrepreneur perspective, who faces will be on there? I think it's how many people on Mount Rushmore? 4 or 5?
I think it's 4.
4. Who would you put on there? Who was on your Mount Rushmore? I want both answers.
Yeah.
First and foremost, it'd be Jay-Z.
Okay.
Z.
Wow. Give me a little elaboration on why.
Oh man, it's
I love
Jay, started from scratch, you know what I mean? Started from ground zero and has been able to have longevity as an entrepreneur, as an artist, whatever you might want to call it, whatever he is to an individual, he has had longevity. And not only has he had longevity and massive growth, he's been able to kick down doors that other people may not have been able to kick down. He's been Warren Buffett. And not just that, he's the information he gets, despite what people may think, he gives back. If you listen to any of his tracks, Blueprint 1, Blueprint 2, like any of his tracks, he's giving you game.
Yeah, he's giving you the place. You just gotta listen.
You just gotta listen to it, right? One of the biggest things that I always took with me is a million ways to get it. You can choose one, right? Just that one bar alone is like they're literally, you can make $1 million selling, water bottles. You know what I'm saying? Paper, whatever it is, desks, right? You just got to pick one, right, and give it your all. Go into that and really make it happen. So there's so many different things that he does that I admire as an entrepreneur. Especially the way he carries himself, just being out of the limelight as much as some of these other people that are very loud and noisy about what it is that they're doing. And he's the exact opposite, you know what I'm saying? So I have a huge amount of respect for Jay. I would say next is a personal person that I've actually had the honor to meet at one point. His name is Warren Thompson. He's the owner of Thompson Hospitality Corporation.
Hospitality. What do you own, like
he owns
hotels or something?
No, so he does have some. I'm sure he has some hotels, but he does food service for all of the major universities on the East Coast primarily. He does a lot of work with the HBCUs. He has a lot of restaurants.
Something like Airmont. You know how they do all the food service.
Exactly. So I think he's actually like number 2 after them. He's the number 1 food service provider as a Black-owned business in the United States. But a long time ago, I was incarcerated at one point, and I was sitting in my bunk, and I'm reading Black Enterprise magazine, and I'm reading about him, you know what I mean, and the things that he was able to achieve coming from ground zero. I think his father was like a pig farmer or something. He grew up on a pig farm, and he was able to, get in, start buying up franchises. He worked for a franchise, and getting high up, buying them, and creating a massive corporation. Very quietly, most people never heard his name before, but yet he controls most of the restaurants you see. Matter of fact, Matchbox. You guys ever heard of Matchbox?
Yeah.
He owns Matchbox, right? So that's part of his company.
Yep.
And it's along with a bunch of other different enterprises. So much respect for Warren Thompson. Huge. I've always had a lot of respect for him. And he's local as well. He's right here in Fairfax County. So.
You know what's crazy? The DMV houses a lot of multi-millionaire entrepreneurs.
Oh yeah.
Like this place.
A lot of low-key ones too.
Low-key, filthy rich guys.
Yeah. So definitely Warren Thompson's up there, and then I would say Nipsey Hussle. Got to throw Nipsey in there simply for the fact of as an entrepreneur, I always have a lot of respect for people that get it out the mud and then go back to give it back.
And he was a marketing genius.
Yeah, marketing genius as well as a motivator. You know what I'm saying? The reason why he's so big now, and and again, I'm not one of the fanboys that hopped on, afterwards, but like he was giving us game. Like when I first did my first flip.
Right.
If you go back, I have a video of my first flip. I was playing Nipsey Hussle throughout the house. Me and my partner, we tearing down walls, listening to Mailbox Money and stuff like that, because he's constantly motivating people like us to really go out there and do what we got to do, put one foot in front of the other and make it happen. So a lot of respect for him. And then last but not least, I got to throw Elon in there simply because Elon has no restrictions on what is possible, and he will go and
the way he make that rocket booster just fall back
down. It's like, who thought of that? Who would think of that? You know what I mean? Like,
think about how much money these contractors stole from NASA.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Dropping rockets in the ocean. We got to charge another $100 million.
Yeah. Yep. What's crazy is that this individual was able to do things that even the entire NASA couldn't accomplish. You know what I'm saying?
Right. 10 years though.
In a short amount of time.
Crazy.
There's no limit on his imagination, no limit on what he would do. If you were to go back and talk to Elon 10 years ago, he would say, "Yo, I'm gonna do this and the third." You think he's insane?
Right.
And he's been able to prove
the fact that he took his PayPal money and put it all in other businesses and had to borrow his rent. That was enough motivation for me to say you always need to bet on yourself.
100%.
Right.
And he's still to this day, like he talks about how he'll fly from, Houston to 2 days out the week then to work on Sun City or whatever Solar City.
Yeah.
And then we'll fly to go work at the Tesla factory. We'll sleep in the factory, you know what I'm saying, to work with the team, like even now being as rich as he is. So, that type of work ethic, that type of hustle, that type of creativity, right? And
when you've already got everything you need for the rest of your life,
right.
It's something special.
So let's talk about your Mount Rushmore.
Man, my Mount Rushmore, man, I'll start off, I'll have to go to the motherland. I'm going to start with Mansa Musa.
Oh, yeah.
Mansa Musa, the richest person that ever lived. For those who don't know, reigned, used to give, walking, traveling, used to give out gold to, mercenaries and people that he just met. The second person, another person from the motherland, our Nigerian counterpart, Dangote, I got to give it to him. He's been probably the richest man in Africa for the last decade or so. He processes
to make a lot of money in like commodities.
Commodities.
Concrete. Tomato paste is one of his. Crazy. Tomatoes is one of his biggest assets on his portfolio. So
it's a staple in the Nigerian and West African communities.
Right. It's crazy. Yeah, but I definitely give it up to him. Of course, I'm gonna have to give the third one. I'll give Bezos his credit. Man started from ground up, just like Jeff Bezos. From the garage, that story can never be overlooked. To what he has become today. Now he's about to take other billionaires to space just on a fun trip, just because he can.
That's crazy, man.
The time, the freedom, He really showed it. That started as a bookstore. For people that don't know, Amazon started as a bookstore. Now it's it's got software, AWS, just a million things, grocery stores, like nobody would have ever thought. But yeah, and then fourth, of course, I'll also go with Elon Musk. The guy is just, man, he's just, the creativity aspect of the way he thinks is what I admire the most.
Right.
I got to give it to that guy, man. When it comes to creative, we consider ourselves creative thinkers, and he's definitely a leader in that space as well. So
let me ask you, let's close our eyes real quick and pretend something. Everybody just mentioned we put them in a room and we can be a part of a mastermind for 2 days. How much would you pay to get in that room?
Man,
I mean, how much? Whatever they want. I'm gonna come up with it if they want. That's invaluable.
It's invaluable.
That's invaluable.
You never know who you're gonna meet.
Whatever it is, I'm gonna come up with it.
And that's one of the things. I definitely highly encourage anybody that's watching this this segment right now to definitely not be afraid to just invest in your education and invest in connections, right? Like, number one thing that we've realized on our path to, being who we are today is just there's some things that you can end up paying $100K for, go to school, spend $100K on education, which is perfectly fine. Not everybody has to be an entrepreneur. That path is not for everybody. Right. We definitely urge other people that are, of course, off a path where you're about to be a neurosurgeon, you need to go to school. You can't just be like, oh, I'll just watch YouTube videos and become a neurosurgeon. But yeah, for everybody out there that's watching this, that is on the entrepreneur grind, that is following this gentleman, this amazing gentleman. Thank you for having us as always. Definitely be willing to and be open-minded to masterminds, get in connections, get in rooms of people that are doing something that you want to see yourself doing, right? If it's 10 years from now, 5 years from now, even a year from now, you can literally skyrocket or expedite your way to success just from the right people that you meet in your life. So definitely take that home with you.
Man, this has been an amazing episode, but I ask everybody who come on my show this one question. I got to ask you this.
Yep.
It's the year 2021, which means the start of a new decade. Do you see yourself in year 2030 at the end of the decade, 10 years from now? What do you see yourself seeing? Man,
it's 10 years.
Something special, man. Do you want to go or do you want?
Come on, man. Let's go. I see crazy things.
So
I'm gonna change the name to PJ Frames.
I'll say this, man. For 10 years from now, I see us, at the top of the food chain. As high as we can get to it. We're taking our company public. we plan on building a very solid company through, not just creating a solid business, but also through acquisitions and mergers, accomplishing a lot of our goals socially. So a big part of what we want to do and a big part of what we're building here is to be able to encourage other entrepreneurs in our community to also reach, the same type of goals and take their companies public or just build really solid companies, as well as creating education systems for entrepreneurs of color, minorities, and all around the globe to really kind of systemize. One of the things that we're big on is creating a system that can combat some of the systems that we face as entrepreneurs of color and people of color in general. You can't fight the system as an individual. Right. So part of what we realized, early on was all the social justice causes that we're very big on and intensive on. We can't fight it as an individual, right? So, we need to secure the bag and create the systems that we need. You know what I'm saying?
You got to invest in your politicians and start there. You got to be able to, here go 20 million. Thank you. Let's make something change.
Yeah. So,
what about you?
Man,
10 years.
In 10 years from now, I see us definitely as billionaires. Number one, that's, of course, qualitative wise. Number two, I see us as probably the largest landowners on the continent of Africa. Number three, agricultural land, not just land, just for the sake of it.
So why, you said it 3 times, why agriculture?
Agriculture is, when I look at our human beings as a people or creatures or, creation.
Right.
There's 3 things human beings need to survive, right? There's water, there's food, and there's shelter.
I agree.
So those 3 things, if you're not effectively owning one of those or being a leader in, a space in one of those, I don't know. For our people, we need something like that, and we don't have that.
All 3 of those.
Encompasses all 3.
And not to mention the fact when you look at somebody like Bill Gates, largest landowner in the United States, if not the world. Right. A lot of people don't know that he's a tech entrepreneur. The fact of the matter is the United States dollar is obviously weakening. We know this, right? There's not, you don't create more land out there, right? And food is always going to be a necessity because you have high populations. So it's best to, secure agricultural land early on in this, flight for food before it becomes a problem, because you don't want to have to get prepared, right? And then when you look at, the fact is when in inflationary environments, assets do well. The number one asset that, any of us can think of is going to be food, right? Because you have both the concept of inflationary environments as well as the fact that, it can be a scarcity depending on economic conditions.
All right, crime is a chicken shortage.
We've seen it during COVID was a perfect. That was literally I wouldn't say a simulation because there was real lives lost, but that was the perfect experience for anybody to understand what it would really be like if the world came to a standing point where it's like, okay, everything is out the door. Now it's just pure survival, right? What is the first thing people are going for? They're going for, toilet paper and then who's the noodles, right? They're going for the food, the grocery aisle, everything is emptied out. So imagine having land, agricultural land, you'll never go hungry, right?
And Africa is
the number one most abundant agricultural land in the entire world. Like anybody that fertility wise, anybody that's been there, growing up, I used to farming and things like that. I was very mindset. So when Kway mentioned that, and we've been doing a good amount of research on that topic. So that's something that we definitely plan on getting into. And then the last, in 10 years, I would say probably being a beacon for the culture, any minority out there, just as two minority Black gentlemen working together, I feel like it's invaluable, right? That's something that's been broken down to the point where it's like you never really see that. So being it that we're 2 people from 2 different walks of life, the complete opposite, essentially, with him being able to grow up here all his life and me coming from there, it's just like 2 different forms of the American dream, essentially, if you would. Yeah. And I feel like that combination is super powerful for everybody to be able to. It's exemplary, and the trials and tribulations of things that we've been through. I think it's going to be something special. Man,
this has been an amazing episode. I got to figure out how we can get you guys back on.
Right.
My time is kind of upon me.
Right.
One day I'm going to have some extra time.
Absolutely.
But what's your final remarks? What you want to leave the people with?
I guess I would definitely say that I would want to lead the people with anybody out there that's an entrepreneur. This is Entrepreneur's Toolkit, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
And anything that you want to do as an entrepreneur, never let any circumstance, whatever your circumstance may be, any setbacks, we say minor setbacks for major comebacks, right?
1000%.
Any setback that you face, never let it get you down, man. Never let it, you can be down, but never out. You know what I mean?
Yep.
There's been multiple situations in my life that I've been down, significantly. And, I always, have always kept the mindset of, I'm always going to figure out some way to make it work for me, right? No matter what it is. So I would always say, whatever the situation, circumstance is, whatever you see yourself wanting to do, always, put your mind frame, to figuring out how to get to that point, right? And then invest in yourself to the point where it's almost impossible for you not to get there, right? Because once you have the information in your own self and you have the skill set in your own self, you have the tools and the resources and the network in your own self, it's almost impossible for you not to succeed at whatever it is that you want to do as an individual, you know what I mean? So that's I think my biggest piece.
And I'll say just it's life is what you make it. Never give up, like he says. Stay strong, overcome adversity. No situation is not impossible to overcome. Just want to always encourage people to just stay in high spirits. Don't look at the glass as half empty, be a half full type of person. And just always, just grind, man. Just hustle. That's the hard work is not going to be done for you. Nobody's going to come save you. You have to be the one that takes a step, aids the situation, and just makes it happen. And feel free to join us on any of our platforms, cheat.algo on Instagram.
Yeah. Put the website up there.
Yeah.
If you want to sign up, I believe it's $99 a month.
Yeah, for the software.
Okay, cool.
We do have a community. Our community is we have a free aspect of our community. You can come into the community, talk about stocks, learn. We do free classes and things like that Tuesdays and Thursdays. So you can join us on Discord there. And if you're interested in software, $99 a month.
Awesome. Listen, it's your boy Antoine checking out. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for coming to the Entrepreneurial Podcast. Do me a favor, go follow these guys on IG. See you next week. We have some more amazing episodes coming your way. Don't you miss it. Thank you so much.
Cheers.
Welcome to the Entrepreneur Toolbelt Podcast, the only podcast you'll ever need to get your business to the next level. This podcast is powered by Antoine Campbell Enterprise. This podcast is sponsored by V1 VAs. If you're looking for a virtual assistant, we are the #1 place to come and get your virtual assistants. I don't care if you're a realtor, if you run a car agency, if you run an ad agency, if you are a wholesaler, I don't care what you is. If the position requires you to use a computer or a working telephone, I can get you somebody in that position for $4 an hour, fully trained, ready to go. Stop wasting time and get to the next level with your business by generating more money and doing less and spending less on labor costs. Text me now, 202-335-3322. The time is now to take your business to the next level. Hey, wholesaler, how you doing? This is your boy Antoine Campbell. I am the owner of Lead Factory. The Lead Factory is a program that allows you to stop worrying about sellers cussing you out, dealing with your lead generation, trying to figure out how to work Silly Ass Mojo or CallTools, and let us step in and handle all of the work for you. Are you sick and tired of trying to get all of the front end shit right in your business? Well, allow Lead Factory to come in and step in and help you out, and you're only talking to motivated sellers. You can get access to this program for as little as $1,600 a month commitment. But we provide the VA, we provide $1, we do all the management, we take care of everything that you're currently struggling with, and you pay a flat fee knowing you don't have to worry about anything else but talking to motivated sellers. If that sounds like somebody like you, call me now or visit the website right now.